What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. It's Maria again. So in this video, we are gonna talk about Pluto in the second house. If you haven't watched my Pluto introduction video, pause this video, go back to watch it so you will understand better what Pluto means and what it represents when it plays in your birth chart. So in this video, we are gonna specifically talk about Pluto in the second house, and I'll start up with the second house itself. The last video we talked about first house is all about you, Pluto in the first house, about like self-discovery, knowing about yourself and self-fulfillment, individualize yourself. And the second house is now you like experience with so much in life, and second house is more like you retrieve from that exploration. Like first house is more your energy going out doing things, and second house is more the earth sign. It's the inward, so you look for the stability and like your needs, and decide like what you value, what you don't value. It's all about your like survival needs and the value needs and emotional needs, all kind of needs to help us survive in this 3D reality. So when Pluto placed in the second house, it is gonna intensify this second house energy by 100 times. So let's say the first house is all about self-discovery, and everybody has that instinct desire to know themselves and explore themselves. But when Pluto there, it's just gonna intensify 100 times. And second house, same, like everyone has survival needs, desires, and meet their emotional insecurities, and they have certain value systems. But when Pluto plays in this house, it's gonna 100x that. So you have a strong instinct, like desire for possession, material possessions, and sexual desire. Like yours is way stronger than like other people in their second house. And there are also like other planets, and the sign of the second house ruler, it can affect differently. Let's say I have Neptune in my second house, so the things I value is way different than other people. Like I might value this good book or a nice like experience instead of having like material possessions. So like having that different planets in your second house also gonna override certain, like I'm gonna just generalize what the second house express itself when Pluto in there, but it might not apply to you if you have different planets in there and kind of affecting how it plays out in your life. So just keep what resonates and leave what doesn't. I'm gonna share my screen really quick, and we're gonna go over the second house. There you go. Make my head a little bit bigger. So Pluto in the second house, your as we talked about, Pluto represents your unconscious desires and attachments. So when it's in the second house, you have this desire and intention for self-reliance and self-sufficiency. So your soul came to this life to learn those lessons. Like every time you rely on something else, external, something outside of yourself, to validate yourself, it probably gonna be taken away or distorted certain way, or you lose motivation, it doesn't serve you anymore. So you're forced back to that self-reliance, self-discovery mode. And just knowing this is gonna help you navigate your life so much easier. If you're just going through life blindly, like, why am I struggling in this area? As we talked about earlier, you have very strong survival instincts, desire for material possessions, meeting your needs. And you also have very strong sexual desire, because if you think like sexual desire goes back to reproduction, and reproduction also like a survival mechanism of humanity. So you will experience those desires very strong compared to Pluto being in the other houses. And this is gonna manifest different ways based on what planets, what signs in your second house. So there are like 3 stereotypes, basically. I'm gonna go through one by one. So this is really the way you actualize those desires, or you fulfill, how you fulfill those desires are going to be different based on the planets and signs. So the first stereotype is basically people might not have a strong, they have those desires, but they're lazy to take any action. One thing about Taurus is like kind of slowing down, grounded, and kind of stay where it's comfortable, So the negative trait of that is you can be lazy, and you have those desire, but you don't want to take any action to fulfill those desires. So there's this conflict. You want something, but you don't want to work for it. So how it plays out is you are gonna take advantage of other people's resource. You might live off your parents' money, or you might live off if you're in a relationship, maybe your partners or siblings or anyone in society, even like a government. So you might take advantage of those resources and meet your desire of this material possessions, even power, things like that. And the second way of this manifest, those desire manifest, is the second archetype is you have those strong desires, but your ability to fulfill those desires are not that great, like close to laziness, but you're not lazy. You have some ability to meet those desires, but you want those things so bad, and you might live beyond your means, which means you're going to use a lot of credit card to buy things that you can't afford. You really value, say you value a car, a house, clothes, jewelries, whatever, those material things. You want it bad, but you can't afford it, but you're going to buy it anyways because there's that desire is so strong, you can't help it. And that's going to put you maybe in a lot of debt. The third one is you have a capability to fulfill those desires. You might have Mars, other planets helping you to achieve those desires in the second house. So you will be like very financially successful, or you're going to be very famous. It doesn't have to be just financial. It can be like fame, or it can be power. Like you might be like political figure. You have a certain power in your hand. So you are going to actualize those desires. But all those 3 types, even though you're actualizing your desires a certain way, at the end, like you gotta learn the lessons of the polarity point of Pluto. So the second house polarity point is the 8th house Scorpio. So Scorpio is all about confronting, like look deep within and confronting your limitations. And the Scorpio energy comes in, it will confront you. Like, let's say you're living this lazy lifestyle using other people's source, and it's going to confront you like, hey, why can't you just go create your own resource, your own physical possessions? And if you live beyond your means, and this Scorpio energy comes in, and then it puts you in a situation you will force to see the reality. It's like, hey, I can't afford these things. I need to stop living beyond my means. I need to face the reality, and I need to achieve that balance. And when you're in the third scenario, when you're wealthy, you achieved your desires, you got what you wanted, then the Scorpio comes in like, okay, like, is this really like what you value? Like your values, your self-esteem should come from within. You should not define yourself by what you possess or what's your fame or what's your power. So it will confront you, and then like even your wealthy, famous, or you have other things that you wanted in life, you are gonna feel this emptiness inside because your self-esteem, self-worth dependent on something external. So the Scorpio energy comes in and confronts you like, is this something like defines your self-worth? So you're going to feel empty. So all those three scenarios, you're always going to be confronted by your limitation. And the book, like the Pluto, written by Jeffrey Wolf Green, he talks about this frog in the well karma. And for those people who has Pluto in the second house, and he also use money doesn't buy happiness. I don't like this. I don't like this quote, but it kind of applies to people in the second house, Pluto in the second house somehow. And so frog in the well, it really implies to like how narrow your sight is, the way you look at the world. You think your value, your worth is only achieved by what you possess. Or like you can only see that, you know, like a frog, it can only see the sky that big as a well. But the reality is the sky is way bigger than the frog can imagine. So the lesson for the frog is it needs to jump out the well and to see the frog is the part of something bigger than itself. So his world or her world is not just defined to that small space they can see. So you need to expand your horizon. You need to reevaluate your value system. Like, is it okay to just, you know, living a life, my value system only relates to physical possessions, or there's something more than physical possession? There's more to life than just what you own. And also the like money doesn't buy happiness. Like all your possessions, all your fame, all your power, you have the, maybe you have the power to achieve those desires, but at the end, like, does it really define what life is about, or there's more to life? So it's gonna confront you and question your value system, and it forces you to expand your horizon and overcome this Taurus limitation where it's grounded and it doesn't want to move, it doesn't want to change. Like it forces you to expand your mind, and it forces you to grow and evolve. And so lessons, we kind of talked about it. Lessons you need to learn is to redefine your value system. So your soul came to this lifetime, Pluto in the second house, for a reason. So it probably means you have a limited perspective on life, or a limited perspective on your value system. That means you need to redefine your value system, redefine what's important, what's not. Maybe you start with like physical possessions important, but at the end, like maybe love is important, or connection is important, or so many other things also important. It's not just the physical possession. So you need to redefine your value system, and you need to learn, share the resources and merge with others. This is like very typical like Scorpion lessons, the polarity point of second house. So like you have such a like strong desire to possession, you almost don't want to share. Like if someone else comes in and try to share your resource or take advantage or anything, like need your help, you're like, nope, this is mine, that's yours. Like you have very clear boundaries, but at some point you need to be open up yourself to share your resources, whatever that is. It doesn't have to be just money. It could be other things in life. You need to learn, share with others, and like emotionally merge with others, because as we mentioned, the sexual desire is like the big theme in your life, and you should not be feel guilty about it or shamed about having so much sexual desire. Maybe like you masturbate or do certain things to release this energy, but do not feel guilty or ashamed having those desires, because those are just given to you, and it's really important to express those desires in a healthy way. So the Scorpion lesson for you is how to merge with oneself emotional level, how to develop this intimate relationship that you can be vulnerable and you can relate to them in a deeper level. So you're not just taking advantage of them, just meet your sexual needs. So that's one of the lessons you need to learn, to how to navigate your sexual desires. So you do have some positive traits. You are stable. You are a survivor. You're resourceful. You have patience. That's one of the characters of Taurus. You have such a strong inner strength, and you also like intense and powerful when it comes to the desires you have in life. And there are also like negative aspects to it, like you're so comfortable where you're at and you don't want to accept others' opinion or others' input. So you can be stubborn and you can be defensive if someone says, oh, is that right the way you look at life, or is that right the way you do things? And you get defensive, and you're going to be slow to change. You're not the person embrace the new things easily, because you emphasize on your stability and groundness or comfort zone. But this can change. Like if you don't resonate with this, you might have a different signs in your second house. If you have a Gemini, you're more open to new things than having Taurus in second house. And you have the strong desire to possess not only physical things. You might even want to like possess your partner, treat them as a possession, or you have a strong desire to link yourself things outside of you, like something powerful, like maybe you want to be friends with who has money or who has power, because you desire for that, so you want to surround yourself with those people. And this can also show up in a negative way, like you might use your sexual desires in a negative way to like manipulate others. You might hold back, like, hey, if you don't give me this or you don't do this for me, I'm not gonna have sex with you. Like it's in a like this manipulation form. Or you could also like, I can have sex with you if you can give me this power or this thing. Like, so you might like misuse this sexual power in some ways, but then this Scorpion lesson kicks in, and then it confronts you. And then whenever you rely on someone or power or money or anything, and it will be taken away, it will be self-corrects basically. Or you rely on someone's resources, it will be taken away. Or you live beyond your means, and then maybe nobody gives you a credit card anymore, like things like that. It always self-corrects. You're not gonna just go on this negative rabbit hole all the time. This evolutionary force comes in and self-corrects itself, like, hey, you're going that way too much, you need to correct, you need to go this way. You need to develop that self-reliance and self-sufficiency. And some extreme cases, some people might even go to prison. Like they have this, it's hard to like navigate or, you know, handle this such a strong Plutonian desire. So you might go like rob a store or steal something to meet that desire. That it means like it's that strong, this desire of like possess something. If you can't meet it the regular way, you're gonna go the, you know, the other detours to get what you want. And some people might even experience, they might struggle their whole life with material possessions. They might never get rich. They might never have enough money, no matter how much they try, because their soul's intention is like, hey, you need to develop that security within. Every time you try to rely on something outside yourself, it does not gonna work. So those people might get really frustrated, like my whole life I tried so hard, worked so hard, but I'm still living this poverty life. It's not fair. Until like they understand why that happened in their life, what lessons they need to learn, it just gonna keep happening. So it really depends on what planets and what signs in your second house. And it can go the other extreme, like the most like richest people in the world might have Pluto in the second house. So the Pluto can be very positive and very negative at the same time. If you can navigate and you have the maturity, you know how to navigate this energy, you can be the like richest person in the world. And if you don't know how to navigate, you go to that negative path of maybe manipulating others to get what you want, or, you know, commit crime to get what you want, or even like use your sexuality to get what you want. Like that's the negative path, and you're gonna go to that self-destructive mode. So either way, like it's really extreme way, but most people might like kind of in the middle, where they're trying to meet those desires and they're trying to develop over time. They confront their limitation and they develop the self-reliance and find their self-esteem, self-worth within, not connect that to something outside of themselves. So at the end, it might take 3 lifetimes, 4 lifetime. You guys gonna learn the lesson sooner or later. So no need to judge yourself or shame yourself for if any of those extreme cases happen to you. Even like some of you might grow up in a family that all your material desires are denied because, oh, we can't afford it, or we don't have that, or you can't have that. And you have such a strong desire growing up, like, I'm going to have it myself. In some cases, this kind of family situation helps you to develop that self-reliance. But on the other hand, you might put too much effort on those areas and you only see your own value through material possessions, which is not really your goal. So yeah, at the end, let me stop sharing my screen. You will come to that point that you are okay. You will let go of fear of losing something, and you are going to share your resources with others without getting so attached to, like, this is mine, no, I can't give it to you. Like, you will learn to share, you will learn to merge with someone emotionally instead of just using them for your sexual desire. So I hope you find this helpful. Maybe some of them resonates with you. Let me know in the comments if any of those resonates. And the next video, we are going to talk about Pluto in the third house. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.